Hey everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect. This is episode 35. Today's date is March 9th, 2020, and I am Duds, or Duds versus known to the rest of the interwebs.
And I am Jimbo, also known as Jimbo Slice 23. What have you been up to this week, Duds?
Yeah, tons of work on my single-player survival series. So enchanting has been my nemesis the entire time I've been playing that series. I couldn't get good fishing treasures. I tried enchanting tools, and this is my biggest gripe, is every time I enchant anything diamond, I get one enchantment. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't get multiple enchantments, and it's just like, what is going on?
I noticed a lot of people aren't getting good enchantments. I don't know if it's been nerfed or... I haven't really heard anything about it, though.
Yeah.
Any changes.
The worst part is, like, I've completely forgot how powerful the grindstone is early game.
Mm-hmm.
So, last night, I don't have Silk Touch. I'm 3 weeks into the game, and I don't have Silk Touch, and I'm, like, pulling my hair out, going, I need some kind of Silk Touch. Like, I'm wanting to do leaves and bushes and stuff without making shears, and... Anyways, so I'm grinding for Silk Touch, and then I've got, like, 5 pickaxes made. 5 diamond pickaxes. And I'm like, wait, I can just grindstone the enchantments off these and try again.
Yeah.
So needless to say, that's what I did. But it did take all 5 of those diamond pickaxes to get Silk Touch, Efficiency 5, and Unbreaking 3 on it. And I was just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, on the Silk Touch one, I got Efficiency 3, and then I got an Efficiency 4, and then I got an Unbreaking, and then another Efficiency 4. So I had to, basically, I hope I have enough ability to put mending on it, or I'm going to be so mad.
Yeah, and these are all level 30 enchants, right?
Right.
It's crazy.
So, yeah, I'm constantly having to go down there to that zombie grinder and kill zombies. Of course, I'm not getting the social zombie spawning that all the hermits are getting, that I'm seeing, that's killing them. I'm not having that problem. But I can pretty much murder all my zombies in one hit. So maybe that's it, because I've got Sweeping Edge on my sword.
Yeah.
Other than that, I built my starter home, which I'm in love with that place.
Mm-hmm.
I worked a lot on it. I had a stream on Saturday where we went looking for supplies. I built it Saturday afternoon, and then Saturday night and Sunday morning, I spent that entire time kind of working on moving everything from the village I'm in now, which I miss shulker boxes.
Oh, yeah.
I miss them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The 7 or 8 double chests of just junk. I'm like, I can't throw it away because it's such an early game. I'm going to need it.
Yep.
I just boated back and forth. I mean, it's like 3 hours of boating back and forth, moving stuff. I still have to move my dog, Bones. For those who are on stream, he's still there. I need to move him over. But yeah, it's a lot of stupid stuff. I did start detailing the house. During the episode, I just ran out of time, and I couldn't really do a lot of detailing work. What I've done is I really like texturing, and it's really easy to texture with stone, because you can do bricked, cracked brick. Hang on.
Yeah.
Those of you who couldn't hear, that's a cough that's been building up for the last minute. Anyways, it's really easy to texture with stone, brick, and andesite, all that stuff. Super easy. Well, I used gray concrete. And that's not so easy to texture with. But what I did is I made a bunch of gray concrete powder. And I just kind of randomly broke the gray concrete and put the powder in there. And then I grabbed a bunch of spruce trapdoors. And just kind of plotted them all over the house to make it kind of look like somebody was using wood to patch part of the concrete or something like that. And I think it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, I like to see that.
Yeah, but what about you? What have you been up to this week?
Well, I actually started editing my last Ripple Effect episode, and I probably put 8 hours into it, maybe a little bit more now, but my first 2 days I put 8 hours into it and got maybe 14 minutes of the episode done and edited, and I didn't touch the mountain yet. And the whole
it sounds like a lot, but that's a good return on some time management.
Yeah.
At least for me.
I'm working on my editing techniques and stuff, trying some new things. So it does take time to put out a quality video, and that's what I'm trying to do more and more often. But the main reason for my final episode is finishing this mountain. Got to get it done. Put way too much time into it already, not to finish it. So yeah, that's that shouldn't be too much longer though. It's just the custom trees. The custom trees probably be the death of me.
Yeah, I mean, going back to you talking about editing, that's one thing I tried this past episode too. Was I don't think a lot of people are going to notice, but that was the most edited video I had ever done, and it was really just me trying to get editing down perfect. There was no background music or anything. I felt that the information I displayed on the screen was so valuable that I wasn't trying to entertain you as much as I was like, hey, this is me in my venture. You're with me. Let's go. Mm-hmm. So I totally agree with you on the trying to perfect the editing. And I always thought you did a really good job editing anyways, so you don't have very far to rise above.
Yeah, there's a couple things I'm working on. With the background music, I think there's like a time and a place to throw in the background music. You know, I'm not a big fan on having it all through the video. I think there was, my Techtopia had a background music throughout the video, but besides that, you know, I usually just, you know, go with, my voice. I don't even use the Minecraft music, but yeah, when I'm doing something, a time lapse or something, I'll throw in some background music. But besides that, that's I don't know. I usually just go with just me and my sultry voice. No. But I actually did my first Twitch live stream. I think it was Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong.
Totally better than mine.
Well, the first 5 minutes I was muted.
You still did better than mine.
That's debatable, but it went pretty well. There's a minute pause to where it said on my screen like everything went down. I couldn't see anything, and on the other side it was frozen. So once it come back into live view, I was like a minute behind, like a whole minute. So
yeah.
I don't know if that's a Twitch thing or if that's on my end. Maybe the internet. There's a lot of things in my house that connect to the internet, so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Heads up to people with that.
Is your PC hardwired, or is it on Wi-Fi?
It is hardwired.
Oh, yeah. And maybe your kids were just watching one too many things on a cell phone or a tablet or something.
Netflix and
yeah,
smart TVs and oh man.
Smart TVs, stop being so dumb.
Yeah. Come on, I thought you were smarter than that. But besides that, we do have some snapshot news this week.
Sweet.
Snapshot 20W10A came out, which introduced the smithing table has a function now. It can now be used to add netherite to your diamond armor and tools. So you can't use your crafting table anymore to do that. Just fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Gives you a purpose. I would have thought it would have been a more, or I don't know how to say this with proper English, more cooler to allow you to add netherite to your diamond tools. But like if it was enchanted, you would lose the enchantment. But a smithing table, if you use that, you would keep your enchantments. I thought that was kind of a really cool feature, and it gave you a reason really to use a smithing table. But I mean, I guess this does, but it's kind of like, hey, we're giving you a reason by forcing you to. Yeah, well, we might hear a little bit more about the smithing table later, because it was one of our blocks of the week, so stay tuned. We don't know if it won yet. There are new blocks introduced in the snapshot. We have the warped and crimson hyphae. It's pronounced warped. Yeah. No warped clue. That's how it's pronounced, I guess. That's how I hear it. Where all four sides are the same. It's a 6-sided log block. So you'll get the texture on all sides. They also have the strip variant of the warped and crimson wood also. Just makes sense. Yep. Kind of saw that coming. Hose can now have efficiency, fortune, and silk touch enchantments. This is something that rose suspicion in my mind. So they made mention that a hoe is now the proper way to do netherwart block, right? Yes. Well, if you can have efficiency, fortune, and silk touch, does that mean if you hoe a netherwart block, you have a chance to fortune it to get more netherwart? and maybe you have to use Silk Touch.
I'm not too sure about that. I don't think there's a...
Maybe it has something to do with the fungus. The big mushroom-looking things.
Maybe. I know the Silk Touch, they haven't really found much of a use for the Silk Touch because you can already get the block with the hoe regularly. Right. But maybe that's subject to change because of the Silk Touch enchantment. I know the Fortune on the hoe, if you use it to gather any crops, carrots, potatoes, you do get more back. If you were to put Fortune on the... Yeah, so that helps there. But Silk Touch is kind of up for debate right now. There's not really a use for it. Next is Piglins now barter with Iron Nuggets and Soul Sand. They no longer barter Warp Nylium, Warp Fungus, and Shroom Lights, which I'm kind of bummed about the Shroom Lights.
Yeah, out of all those, the Shroom Light I would have liked them to keep in there.
Yeah, the Warp Nylium and Fungus kind of made sense. They took that out. Mm-hmm. Also, the bartering percentages has changed. I don't have all the figures in front of me, but I know the netherite hoe is a lot more rare. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all I know about the percentages. But also, another good thing, fish despawn if a player is 64 blocks away. So this should help out with a lot of lag, especially if you're near an ocean or a river. Mm-hmm.
I like that one.
Yeah, fish seem to spawn a lot. We also have wither skeletons. They attack piglins now. They used to wait for the piglins to attack them, but they go at each other. They just go at it when they see each other. It's pretty neat.
We're gonna need a fighting ring at this rate.
I know. Yeah, I want to see that.
Put a piglin, hoglin, and a wither skelly all together. Well, it's kind of outnumbering the piglin because hoglin and wither skeleton don't really have anything against each other, but still be cool to watch.
Oh yeah, like a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, put in an iron golem in just for good measure.
Yeah. Last but not least, there are new ambient sounds in the Nether. Each biome has their own specific sound, ambient noise, and they're pretty neat. Can't really describe them, but that's it's a cool addition.
I have not heard the ambient sounds. When I saw that they were adding new sounds, I got super excited because that's especially ambient sounds. It's one of the things I've been wanting for a long time. Like, I love when you're on a beach biome, I want to hear beach noises, or when you're in a roofed forest, I want to hear this kind of noises. So the fact that they're putting ambient sounds in means they're getting closer to that. But I didn't want to listen to the sounds until I took my first steps into the Nether. So I'm trying not to listen to those at all.
You get the full atmosphere effect. Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But that's all I got for the snapshot news. So,
yeah, well, on top of the snapshot news, we have news about Minecraft Festival. Sadly enough, it's been postponed, more likely due to the coronavirus going around everywhere.
Yeah.
But it says Minecraft Festival has been postponed until fall 2021, more than likely the same time next year. The decision was made due to coronavirus outbreak and the impact it may have on the event and logistics organizing it. That makes sense because you have tons of people from all over different countries and stuff trying to get there. Yeah. And have you ever known anyone to go to one of these con events and then come home not sick?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be pretty crowded. There's a lot of places that are closing events due to that. Even sporting events are debating on even having fans come to the games.
Yeah.
And, it's pretty serious if it comes to that.
Yeah, it's getting a little crazy. But good news is the live stream show for Minecraft Live is still going to happen. So we'll still get a show and an update and all that kinds of stuff. I did see on Twitter, I think it may have been Dinnerbone or whatever, but a lot of the Minecraft guys got together and had a meeting on themes and updates, and they were going through that list of suggested improvements to Minecraft. So they do actively listen to you guys. I know it's been like this for a while. People name stuff. I want to say Cubfan was one of the first people to name the firework rocket as a way to propel the Elytra, and that got put in the game. So cool stuff like that happens. So if you have a suggestion, red dragons, definitely put them into the Minecraft suggested comments.
Everyone did.
Everyone. Also, we're getting into listener comments. We're going to go back to the bet of the year, as Carl is calling it. Now, this bet was made between me and Jimbo to see who could get closest to when 1.16 is going to release. I said June 12th, and Jimbo, you said May 12th?
Yes, a month before.
Yeah. I've got 60% of the votes. Hurrah. And you have 40% of the votes.
Wow, I'm surprised.
But on Discord, that's the Twitter votes. But on Discord, it's 50-50. 25% you, 25% me. Wait. No, it's 50% me.
Yeah.
25% you, and 25% to Omni. Omni's not in this bet, guys. He likes to think he's in this bet. But the walrus is too smart for his own good. Let us embarrass ourselves with bad guesses. But it's not going to happen because I'm going to win.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take his diamonds too. You know, I wouldn't mind 2 diamond blocks, but yeah, too bad you're not in this, Omni.
We love Omni, but he's too smart for this.
You take my diamonds at your games, okay? You take enough of my diamonds.
Yeah, just start charging for your games for how long it takes us to beat them.
Yeah, like, diamond a minute.
That stupid escape room. I mean...
Oh, you'd be broke.
I'd be like Corrales playing Run. Just like, holy cow. Yeah, so let's jump into the survey ad. This week is your last chance to take part in our listener survey. Filling it out will help us keep the show fresh and improve it going forward. We want all of your thoughts and opinions, the good and the bad.
Make sure to take part before 10 p.m. GMT on the 15th of March to make sure your feedback is heard, and join Carl on next week's show where we'll be discussing the results. Here's how to get involved.
Hi everyone. With a half stack of episodes under our belt, it's time to find out what you like and don't like about the show, so we can make the next half stack and more even better. To do this, we have put together our 2020 survey that will run from now until the 15th of March at 10 p.m. GMT. Join me on episode 36 with Duds and Jimbo for the results. A link to the survey is in the show notes and is also linked in our Discord server. Please get involved and let's take the Withering effect to the next level.
Alright, thank you, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Yeah, let's go into block of the week. Man, was this a tight one.
Yeah, so tight I never got to see the winner till like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. So we asked you guys on Discord which of the following blocks discussed this week. You guys had the choices between Blast Furnace, Brewing Stand, and Smithing Table.
And the winner this week is... Brewing Stand. Congratulations.
Yeah, I would have thought you guys would have said Smithing Table.
Mm-hmm.
But nope. It was Brewing Stand, and there's not a lot to say about Brewing Stand. I did find a fun fact. Brewing Stands always faced east, no matter which way you place it.
Wow. I did not know that.
And if there is one thing I would change, it's that.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool to be able to rotate the Brewing Stand around.
Yeah. I am like kind of wanting a texture update for the Brewing Stand. Mm-hmm. It really hasn't changed much, but...
Well, it actually got a texture update in 1.14, but it was just slight minimum changes.
Did it? Oh. Mm-hmm. I didn't notice.
It was very slight to the 3D texture, which, by the way, it's one of the most... Thanks, loud car! Trying to record a podcast here.
I heard that, car.
Jeez. But anyway, it's one of the nicest, to me, 3D textured models in the game. Like, so much of Minecraft is so put in that square general box shape.
Yeah.
I mean, so to have the Brewing Stand, it's nice that it breaks that symbol. But anyways, the item texture is the one that really changed the most whenever you have it in your inventory and in your hand.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be nice to just use it in other ways besides brewing stand. Like use it in your builds a little bit. There's a few instances where you could, but not too many. You know, it's pretty much just for your potions. But
yeah, I mean, people use them whenever they want to make like a coffee bar or something like that in the game. But other than that, it really doesn't. You can't use it in a ton of different ways.
No, not too many. I've saw it used for shocks on a vehicle before. That looked really cool.
That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's probably my favorite way I got to see it used differently.
Yeah. One idea I did have for it is, so you know how it always has the 3 plates so you can brew 3 potions at one time?
Mm-hmm.
What if you're able to like do 1 plate or 4 plates? Like you can just constantly tileable. Just keep making it bigger and expand it.
One stand?
So maybe instead of having the 3 stands, you can have it, instead of that triangle formation, you can do 3 right next to each other. If that makes sense. Instead of the 3 pads and the triangle shape that it sits in.
Okay.
You just do 1 pad, 1 rod.
Oh, okay.
So, like the crafting recipe is 1 blaze rod and 3 cobblestone.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do 1 rod and 1 cobblestone, you just get 1 pad, meaning you can only brew 1 potion at a time. But you could do that. You could constantly just set a bunch of them next to each other. So you could kind of have like this wall of what looks like yellow rods straight up and down.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious they chose 3 at a time.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it. But hey, that's more per brew. Man, that's a tongue twister.
More per brew. Yeah. No, I get it because I've been looking. I really want sea lanterns. And I was like, do I really want to tackle a guardian farm this early when I barely have got any enchantments that are any good? Like, I'm still running around in gold and leather armor because I don't want to waste my diamonds because I know I'm not going to get good enchantments.
Yeah, you got to get your tool enchantments before you get your enchantments on your armor. That's
exactly. Yeah, should we get into the main quote-unquote topics this week?
Sure.
We're going to start off with you. You had the top 5 beginner farms for a new survival world. We're going to carry on with the starting over from last episode.
Yeah, so we have 116 coming out, and a lot of people are going to be starting over, and some are curious of what farms do you build early game. So I made my top 5 list, and starting off I have a cow farm, because early game you're going to need food, and one of the best food sources to get is cows. So the way I would do it is the entity cramming. We've mentioned this on a previous show. It's pretty easy. You know, you can start off with just 2 cows. Get them into a hole with a hopper underneath and feed them until they just can't fit there anymore. Yeah. It's nice to have a water source underneath of them so they can bob up and down so you can reach every single one of the cows.
Mm-hmm. My only thought with that is, though, you have to make a wheat farm along with your cow farm.
Yeah. Yeah, wheat's pretty easy to get because, just the grass seeds. But
this is true.
I was going to put that in there, but it's not top 5.
It's not top 5.
Not top 5.
But you need it to do a top 5 farm.
Yeah, you need it to do a top 5 farm, but it's not top 5.
So my top 5 list is top 5 considerations when building a new base.
Okay.
And so basically you're starting over it and you're like, what should I start on? And basically all 5 of these are from what I experienced the first 3 weeks on my own survival. And number 5, don't rely on the AFK fish farms. They're tricky little fools, and they think, or you think you're going to get great treasure from them, and you're going to be set off great. You're not going to get jack.
Yeah, they seem to be nerfed a little bit as well.
Yeah, I will say I have more fish than I know what to do with, but because I did a Jimbo and I made a cow farm the very first couple days on the server because I needed leather to do the enchanting setup, I have more steak than I know what to do with, along with all this fish, but I'm not eating the fish because the steak's so much better for you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the only fish worth eating is the cooked salmon. The cod is pretty pointless.
Yeah, I was living off the salmon for a little while, and then I had so much beef, I was like, forget salmon, jeez.
Should we go with my number 4 now?
Yeah, what's your number 4?
My number 4 farm for a beginner world would be the kelp farm. The reason I chose this as number 4 is because it is a food source. You're going to need food if you're not able to get a cow farm. And the fuel. You could use it for your fuel. You don't have to use the wood. A lot of people use wood at the beginning if you don't have coal. And then you can save your coal even with the kelp. Now, kelp is very easy to get. That's the thing. And it's very abundant. It grows really fast. And you just get so much with a small farm. You don't need it big at all. So that's why kelp is at number 4 on my list.
Yep, and I can see that. I've contemplated, because I live right near an ocean, jumping in there, grabbing a bunch of kelp, and start burning it so I can use that as my fuel instead of my coal. Because I haven't really lightened or placed light sources around where I'm at right now because of the real lack of coal. I'm trying to save as much as I can. So I think I'm going to have to jump on the kelp bandwagon and smelt some kelp again. I used that all last season in Ripple Effect. Like, that was my main fuel source, and it did work great. I have so much kelp laying around that base. If you guys download the world download, yeah, you just walk around. You'll see I was using it for walls at one point because I didn't know what to do with it. I've got random barrels and shulker boxes laying around. You can open a random barrel and you'll find 27 stacks of kelp blocks just laying there.
Yeah. I also like the texture of the kelp block. I don't know. I've used it a lot in my builds. It went real good with it. And also, you can get if you do run it through your furnaces and get the dried kelp, you can gain a good bit of XP from them, and that's good for the beginning of the game. But yeah, that's about it for my number 4 beginner farm.
All right. My number 4 consideration when starting a new base is, how long do you plan on staying at this new base? So if I look at my Ripple Effect season, my starting house, I was there maybe 2 weeks, which was an absolute disappointment when I look back on it. I should have stayed there a lot longer, should have played with that building a lot more, which is directly influencing how I'm playing my own survival. I built my starting home a lot larger, but it's based off of the Ripple Effect starting home. And I did that size-wise, knowing, hey, I'm going to be here at least a month to 2 months playing here. I know there's a bunch of farms I want to build, and when I build farms, I generally build them in a condensed area. So, like, I have a mass storage room where I can just kind of line up and say, okay, I need this, 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 and this, and just grab and go. But I'm kind of playing it a little differently in my own survival. So that's one of the things you want to think about. Do you want to have this place you're going to be at for a long time, or are you just going to be there for 2 or 3 nights and moving on?
Yeah, that is one thing you got to think about. You know, how much you going to build there? How much time are you going to spend there before you have what you need to build your big plan? Yeah.
But what about you? Moving on to your number 3.
Yes, number 3, beginner farm. I have a mob spawner / XP farm. Because at the beginning of the game, if you find any kind of spawner, it is worth getting, not just for the drops. Drops help, but the XP. The XP really helps with enchanting. You mentioned how you have a zombie grinder that you're at all the time because the enchantments are so crappy at the moment.
Yeah.
But this could be, I was considering like a mob farm. That's also that kind of goes with it. I mean, it's easier to find a spawner than to build a massive mob farm. But yeah, hostile mob farm would be okay too. But out of all the spawners, the skeleton spawner would be probably my top one out of all them, because you get the bones.
Yeah, I agree with you. The skeleton spawner is definitely kind of the golden gem to find But you do have other considerations. I want to say that the cave spider gives you more XP, but they're also a lot harder to kill because you can't drop them. Mm-hmm. So it takes more swipes to kill, and you actually have to go for the Bane of Arthropods enchantment. We all know how we feel about that enchantment on the show.
Yeah, they hit pretty hard back. But also, if you do have a skeleton spawner or a zombie spawner, you can also have a grindstone to get XP off of their bows that they drop, or their armor that they drop. You can get a little bit of extra XP if you put that in the grindstone also. So that helps.
But here's my argument for the cave spider spawner. I don't know why I'm arguing for it. I would never build one. I hate those things. But the cave spider spawner does drop string, which can be used for the fishing poles. You can make wool out of it.
Bamboo or scaffolding.
So there is a good thing. Also, let's not forget, a blaze farm is a spawner farm that you can technically make in early game. Yeah. Now, not super early, but hey, Suze, it is possible to make it early game. And the drops from that and the XP, to me, are well above anything else. Because now you have an infinite fuel source with blaze rods. You're able to turn the blaze rods into blaze powder, which will fuel potions. And the blaze powder can be compared with Eye of Enders to get an Ender chest. And then to find the end, which you can then make an Enderman farm, which gives you like the best XP out of all of them. Yeah. So, mob spawner is a great thing in Minecraft.
If you do find, if you do get the blaze rods, it would trump the kelp farm because you're going to use that fuel over the other fuel. At least I would. I loved using the blaze rods, but also a blaze spawner. You can make those redstone lists. Some of them are pretty easy to make. They use pathfinding to bring the blaze to the killing chamber. So that might be just above skeleton spawner, and close third would probably be the cave spider.
I think I have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Zombie one sucks, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have them if you need them, if that's all you got. But
it was definitely a nice find, but at this point, it's like, I wish I had skeleton. Oh, here's something that, so I was at my stupid zombie grinder, right? And I've got this little block of lava in my grindstone and a furnace. So I'm basically taking the enchanted armor, grindstoning it, getting the XP, taking like the golden armor, putting it in the furnace, smelting it so I have golden nuggets. And then for the leather stuff, after I grindstone it, I just kind of toss it into that lava. So it goes away because you can't decraft it, and I'm not going to wear leather armor at this point. No. Well, I had clicked to throw it, and it didn't throw it. And I went, what the heck? So I accidentally hit my bottom button triggers, which moves my item bar around. And I clicked on my bow, and I threw my brand new mending bow into the lava. I went,
I've done that
no! The only thing I can say is it was a mending bow. And I only had 12 arrows, so I would never use the bow unless it was a last case scenario. Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe I can get infinity now.
Yeah. Another thing to think about with a zombie spawner is you got to account for the babies. And you don't have to do that with the skeletons or the blaze. They're all the same size.
Well, and you have to account for chicken jockeys.
Yeah, and chickens.
Absolutely breaking that zombie grinder. I had to go underneath it. Remember how I said the last podcast I did this cool thing with the fence gate and half slabs, so if the zombie was from one side or the other, it would slip in and fall down? Yeah. Doesn't work if they're on a chicken. The chicken's hitbox is too big. So they just clog up the thing. So I dug down there again, and I had to make another little hidey hole so I can see where they're getting stuck, and then I just kill them there. And then put my half slab back up and then go back up top, and the machine starts working again.
Chickens ruin the whole
thing. Stupid chicken.
Ruin everything, chickens.
Ugh, I hate them.
But I think I covered everything on my number 3 farm.
Yeah. Well, and that leads perfectly into my number 3, and that's how many farms do you really want in that area? Because more farms equals more lag. And like I said, I'm a big proponent of I want all my stuff to go to central storage, but I never really build my farms on a huge scale. I'm going to need to AFK here 1 or 2 nights to really get some kind of material going, but I'm okay with that. I work during the day, so to have my guy AFKing while I'm at work, perfectly fine with it. I'm not causing any lag, and I'm still getting a lot of resources. I'm good with that. So definitely think about that area some more. Like, if you're building a bunch of farms, is that all you're building?
Yeah, and the size, if you do want to make one at such a big scale, the best way to do it, though it's grindy and it's going to take a while, you got to make a perimeter in the ground, because that'll save you on lag, especially if you want to make them big. If you're one of the people that just wants to, you want to see how many items you can get, the best option is to make a perimeter.
Well, yeah, not only that is, it becomes so efficient that way, you don't have to AFK there very long. You might only have to be there an hour, and you've got more materials and you know what to do with. Like, I'm contemplating digging a slime farm. I'm like, I'd really like a beacon if I'm getting ready to do that. But I realized I had 9 stacks of slime blocks all of last season. That's it. And I didn't need any more.
Wow. Yeah, so, if you look at like Psycraft, they have the biggest farms you can imagine. And there's really not that much lag because of how they take care of everything around it. Yeah, and they're geniuses. They should be like working for NASA or something, but
Minecraft NASA.
Yeah.
All right, what about you? What is your number 2 starter farm?
Number 2 beginner farm would have to be the iron farm. We all want one, whether it's early or not, but with the design nowadays, it's pretty relatively easy to get it done early. You only need so many villagers. I mean, a breeder could have made the list, but I didn't see it as a farm. But a breeder, you can get villagers pretty quick that way. And you need 1 zombie, and you can have all the iron you really need. It's pretty easy to set up nowadays.
Yeah, talking about the breeder, it's such an easy thing. That's what I'm doing my next episode, is I'm setting up the villager breeder so I can set up an iron farm. I'm at that point now where I've got a decent amount of iron, but if I were to build any kind of decent redstone farm, I've used a lot of my iron at that point. So having an iron farm is kind of tops the to-do list, and I think I'm there now because the breeders are so simple. Like, you don't even have to consider them farms. It's just beds and throwing carrots. And Suze, come on now.
And
really? Can you hear her?
No, I can't hear.
She is snoring. She's like, it's like, come on.
It's like her thing.
God. It's like, you sleep all day. How are you still tired? Yes, I agree with you. Iron Farm, I would have put Iron Farm number 1 just because of how easy they are nowadays. But I can understand a number 2.
Yeah, which makes you think what could be number 1. And we'll get to that here in a minute.
Yes. So my number 2 comes down to the seed. When you're considering a new base, you want to pick the perfect seed. That being said, there are people who very much live on the wild side of life. Just hit that random seed generation button and go for it. I'm not that guy. I get inspired by the terrain, so I very much look for seeds. Like, when I found this one, I literally typed in island seeds with nearby village, so I wouldn't have to move villagers extreme distances early in game. And sure enough, that's how I found this seed I was on. And I say it, I think, a couple times in the last episode. That's all I knew about that seed. I went there. I did the trailer recording. Every once in a while, I'll look at Mine Atlas, which will show sometimes dungeons and temples and stuff like that. So that's how I've known. Like, there's a skeleton spawner near my new house, or at least somewhere on the island. I'm not exactly sure where it is. I'm hoping it's near diamond level, so when I'm mining out that area, I find it. But yeah, the seed's a big thing. Like, I kind of want to build in a jungle one day. I've had this thing where I want to build extremely modern builds in a jungle. Of course, I think Exuma just put a video out today saying that's what he's doing. So,
yeah, that was his plans. Like
yeah,
a city type of modern city.
Yeah, I am super excited to see what he does with that because I've wanted to do that for a while. I've just never found the right area. So to see him do that, it's like, oh, I can finally see if some of the thoughts in my head I turned out are going to look good. I kind of always wanted to do a western city in a mesa, but I think I would get bored with that relatively quickly.
Yeah, I've always done random seeds, but I've never really known where to go to find like the perfect seed. So where do you go to find your seeds?
To me, it's just Googling.
You just Google?
Google's everything. Say you really want jungle mountains, I would just type in jungle mountain seeds 1.15.2 because don't forget, depending on the version you play in, the seed varies a little bit. So like, I think Mine Atlas, if I were to type in my seed and everything into it, it gives me like this weird generation map that's not exactly what I have there. So I have to take the level dat file and place it into Mine Atlas so it at least gets really close to what I have.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes if you were to get, for instance, we had an idea for a quad witch hut on next season, and we brought up seeds that had quad witch huts, but if you were to convert them to 116, I think one of them went to a triple witch hut, which is, something to consider. You have to make sure everything's there before you, or after you hit that upgrade button. Make sure nothing's like destroyed or everything's there that you want.
Yeah, that's it for me on number 2. What's your number 1, Jimbo?
Well, my number 1 farm, which is the easiest farm to set up and probably the most beneficial with XP and drops, is the AFK fish farm.
Shut your mouth, Jimbo. We already have it on my number 5. Do not rely on the AFK fish farms.
Yeah, I gotta go against the grain a little bit right here, but yeah, I wouldn't say rely on it, but it's very beneficial. You can get tons of books if you don't have food, like a cow farm or a kelp farm or any other kind of food farm. You can get tons of fish, which the only fish worth eating is the salmon, but...
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you on this one. Number 1, I probably would have put it at number 2, but the AFK fish farm is a great beginning farm for new people, especially because it's such an easy build. So easy, such little materials. And like you said, it gets you massive amount of food. It gets you a decent amount of XP. There's a reason I relied on it the first week, which is why I said don't rely on it. I just get extremely unlucky lately. So, but yeah, the AFK fish farm's a great farm early game. Which I think is why a lot of hermits are saying no AFK fishing this season, because it's such a great farm that it almost makes it too easy.
Yeah, it's so OP. Some people see it as cheating when it's all in the mechanics of the game. It's not technically cheating if you can build it, and there's many different ways to build one. So, but yeah, a lot of people don't use them just because they're so overpowered. But
yeah, I agree with you. If it's game mechanics in the game, it's not cheating. Like, was it duping rails or whatever? Yeah, it's a little cheeky, but it's in the game. And you're taking advantage of something that's in the game. You're not spawning in something that's not there. So I don't technically see that as cheating. Yeah. But
I mean, if
I
it
can
was
see how
cheating,
some people don't like it.
Yeah. Well, if it was cheating, I'm sure they could find a way to get rid of it. But then again, with a community like Psycraft, for instance, I'm sure they'll find a way.
Well, and it's all about your community, too. If you're playing in one, they may say, hey, no duping items or anything like that.
Yeah.
Kind of defeats the purpose of the game. I'm in a single player world now, and there might be a time where I'm like, I have no iron, I have no gold, I need rails. I might dupe a couple rails to get a job done, but I've not come across that part yet, and I don't technically see it as cheating because it's in the game.
Yeah, the only thing I could see worth duping that I've ever done is the TNT, because to make a perimeter I don't know, it just seems logical. To dupe the TNT to do something like that. You're never going to get that much TNT on its own to make... We've
seen the carpet dupe to make infinite fuel.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're still doing that or anything right now. I think that may have been fixed.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that. I've never really duped carpet or rails or anything at that matter besides the TNT. Mm-hmm. But even when you dupe the TNT, you're not getting stacks of TNT. It's igniting right then and there. So it's not like you're stocking up either.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we're not using it to blow up each other's builds. We're using it for constructive purposes.
Yes.
But my number one consideration when building a new base, animals are noisy. Put them far away where you don't have to hear them.
That's your number one, huh?
That's my number one. I have a sheep, 2 donkeys, a horse, and a cow that rocks around my starting house right now. And they are noisy and they are loud. And it's like, oh my God. And that's what portals are also noisy.
Oh, yeah.
So,
there is a way to
about that stuff.
There is a way to fix that in the options. But
in the portal?
Maybe.
Or are you just saying turn all friendly noises down?
Yeah, the friendly noises thing is what
I cranked mine to 0. Nothing makes any noise anymore. That whole reason is why I put the silenced name tag data pack from Vanilla Tweaks on my single player world. So if I wanted a loud mob, I could hit it with a silenced name tag and I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good idea also. There are tweaks to where you can silence them with a name tag also. If you want certain mobs to have some noise or, some to not. Because some don't make as much noise as others. Yeah. At least I think. I'm not in your situation. Maybe they're all really noisy, but...
Well, as C-3PO had made mention that since I was low on arrows, I should make a chicken farm to get feathers and just go ahead and make my own arrows. Well, there's that loud car again.
Same car.
But the only reason I hadn't done that was because chickens are loud, man. And so I forgot
Especially when they burn, they get loud.
Yeah. And then that's when I was like, I have that silence thing in there. I could name some chickens if I wanted to. But now I'm at the point where I lost my bow. So it's like, I better go for infinity now. It's now or never.
Yeah, I've always been an infinity guy.
I did not have an infinity bow for most of the season last season on Ripple Effect.
Oh, I'd go for it on T1.
Well, I had the skeleton spawner at Freddy's. I was using a ton.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd just go there if I needed a little bit of XP and get a ton of arrows. Of course, then I set up that XP farm, which I wish that was early game because that's such an awesome farm. Yeah. I guess it technically could be if you do it right, but meh. Anyway, I think that's kind of it for the show. Should we go ahead and read us out?
Well, I did want to mention that if anyone else has any other farms they'd like to put in their top 5, let us know on our Discord.
Yeah, and if I've missed anything about building a new base, let us know.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'm missing a farm, but I just couldn't think of it. But I'm satisfied with my top 5 for the circumstances of getting it all ready in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like the show, you can share it with all your friends and on social media. If you listen on Spotify, follow us. Or if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice review. Doing any of these really helps the show reach out to more listeners. If you would like to get in contact with the show, send an email to podcast@rippleeffectsmp.com. Tweet us or join our Discord where you can have a chat with everyone who works on the show and fellow listeners. The links are all in the show notes.
Yeah, this show's been brought to you by Jimbo and myself, but also our digital producer, Carl. He helps make sure the show ends up where it should be and not trapped in your noisy animal pen. The amazing music you hear in the intro and outro is created by the one and only Decoy. Everyone's social media info can be found in the show notes. You guys have been awesome as always. Thanks for getting withers with us. You should probably go drink some milk by now. Bye.
See you later.